Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching India Upfront with me, Meghna Dekha. Well, viewers, it's not new to have protests and dharnas by political parties when their top bosses are facing the test of probity. Remember when the Enforcement Directorate had summoned the Gandhis for questioning in the National Herald case? Or even when Mamata Banerjee and the TMC cadres laid siege to the CBI office in Kolkata? Or even when Sena supporters hit the streets after Sanjay Raut was arrested? But the question is, can these dharnas, can these protests influence the probe itself? Is this their democratic right to protest or a bid to intimidate the witnesses and even the agencies? These questions are very relevant since today, inside the courtroom, the CBI has alleged that AAP cadres with their fierce dharna on Friday and Saturday have terrorized the witnesses in the liquor gate probe. But first, let's tell you what transpired today. Well, Manish Sisodia, the blue-eyed administrator of Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi, is now staring at a Holi in jail. After 7 days of CBI custody for the alleged Liquorgate scam, the former Mantri today has been remanded to judicial custody till 20th of March. He, remember, is joining his erstwhile cabinet colleague Satyendra Jain in the Tihar jail. However, the CBI has made a stunning charge that the massive protests by the AAP cadres outside the courtroom is terrorizing the witnesses. It fears that Dharna, as being reported in the media, may adversely impact its investigation. To this, Sisodia's counsel has quipped that this is an appalling charge which the CBI hasn't mentioned officially on its application. After Manish Sisodia was sent to judicial custody outside the courtroom, AAP and opposition united to train their guns on the agency.
बड़ा हास्यास्पद रहा, लेकिन सीबीआई को इस बात का एहसास हो गया है कि इस प्रकार से वो राजनीतिक दबाव में गलत काम कर रहे हैं। आज खुल्लम खुल्ला कोर्ट के अंदर सीबीआई के वकील ने कहा, जो कुछ भी हमने 5 दिन का रिमांड पे भेजा, 2 दिन का रिमांड पे भेजा, कोर्ट के कहने से भेजा, लेकिन बदनामी हमारी हो रही है।
सीबीआई ने मनीष सिसोदिया जी के घर पर रेड करी, उनके ऑफिस पर रेड करी, उनके पैतृक गांव पर रेड करी, उनके लॉकर पर रेड करी, लेकिन कहीं पर भी उन्हें कुछ नहीं मिला। और आज कोर्ट के सामने सीबीआई ने तकरीबन यही मान लिया कि अब उनके पास मनीष सिसोदिया जी से पूछने के लिए कोई भी सवाल नहीं है।
जो इसका दुरुपयोग होता है विरोध की आवाज दबाने को और उनको बदनाम करने के लिए, उसको हम उचित नहीं मानते। तो ये सब बदले की कार्रवाई, विपक्ष को दबाने की कार्रवाई का हिस्सा है और हम इसको अनुचित मानते।
और एक बार फिर से लोगों को ये विश्वास हुआ है, हमारे दिल्ली के लोगों को, कि अपराध करने वाले का जो हश्र होता है वही मनीष सिसोदिया के साथ हो रहा है।
Well, of course, this isn't the first time that political parties have hit the streets in protest when they face the heat of investigative agencies. Let's remind you how dharna and protests have been staged to try and derail and influence the probe and hit out at the agencies in the past as well. Let's remind you, the National Herald case. Remember, in June 2020, when the ED quizzed the Gandhis, Sonia and Rahul, what was the fallout? Well, 3 days of nationwide protests were held by the Congress party in Guwahati. The Congress cadres even attacked an ACP-level police officer. When it came to the Narada Sting case, remember in 2021, the CBI arrested 2 of TMC's mantris as well as a TMC MLA. The fallout was that Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, she herself went there, stormed the CBI, at least tried to storm the CBI office. There was stone pelting also which happened, and there were barricades which had to be put out. The Chief Minister herself sat outside demanding the release of the netas. Then when it came to the Chaul redevelopment case in Maharashtra, on 22nd of August, in 2022, you had the Enforcement Directorate which had arrested Sanjay Raut. What happened after that? Well, Sena workers raised slogans and chants. They even blocked roads. Even the women's wing was activated, who attempted to stage a Rasta Roko Andolan. But it's not just Dharna. Political parties have often tried to directly influence the probe, intimidate witnesses and even threaten judges in the past. Can you imagine? In fact, let's remind you how politics of intimidation are nothing new. Well, in 2022, in the Bengal cattle smuggling case, TMC's Anubrata Mondal's case judge got a threat letter. In fact, the CBI judge got a threat letter which said, I'm going to quote it here, give Mondal bail or else you will get implicated in the drug case. Then later, 2022 IRCTC scam in Bihar. The CBI has given a petition in the court saying that the Tejaswi has given a direct threat to the CBI officers. The CBI petition also mentioned that Tejaswi gave indirect threat to the witnesses, after which the judge told and warned Tejaswi, watch your words outside the courtroom. That was the admonishment which came in from the court. Then in 2019, Anand Sharma's dhamki to the CBI and ED viewers, you must remember this. He said that the governments will change, officers will have to stay. We will seek accountability after we, the Congress, form a government. That was an open threat, and there are no two ways about reading it. Then, way back in 2016, Chief Minister's former principal secretary was also arrested at the time of Arvind Kejriwal. The CBI in court had said that we have proof of witnesses being threatened. There are several such other instances as well. Remember, there were cases of even Satyendra Jain allegedly threatening Tihar jail officials during his stay in Tihar. He's, of course, still in Tihar. So, what really is the larger question that we are asking? Can a Dharna derail the probity, the process of probity? Let me go across to our panelists. Joining us today on the show, Shehzad Poonawala, national spokesperson with the BJP, Dr. Ranganathan, an author, Dr. Akashdeep Muni, a political analyst, Dr. Suman C. Raman is joining us, another political analyst, and Sanjay Hegde, a senior advocate. But before it turns completely political, let me go across to our non-political guests first, because it's important for us to understand this is something which directly affects India's democracy and the standards of probity that we set for those who are governing and ruling us. So, Dr. Ranganathan, I'm going to come to you first. Is it possible that the political protests that we have seen, and this is cutting across party lines, can influence either the probe or the courts?
Good evening and good evening to all the fellow panelists. No, of course it's possible, and in fact it is done for the express purpose of this, whatever you are alleging. Let me make three quick points. Number one, Aam Aadmi Party is like a housefly that has settled on a fly swatter. Sooner or later somebody had to pick it up, and that is what has happened. And it is profoundly amusing that, in the clip that you showed, Meghna, the one protesting is Mr. Somnath Bharti.
Yes.
He has been convicted by the court, and the punishment served to him is for 2 years in an assault case during a dharna. And he is the one who's protesting. This really does take the cake, and I think increasingly Dr. Muni is going to find it very difficult to keep on defending Aam Aadmi Party because of two other factors. Number one, whatever may be the allegations, now it is the court that has extended the remand. So it is not just the quote-unquote Modi government that is prosecuting or persecuting Manish Sisodia, it has been alleged. And number two, you can't get away from the fact that there is prima facie violation of the GNCTD Act 1991, the Delhi Excise Act 2009 and Delhi Excise Rule 2010. You can't get away from the fact that the allegation is that the policy was tweaked to give on the basis of 100 crores that were received by a liquor baron. Now, these are fact, and the worrying thing for Mr. Sisodia is that unlike the ED that goes after people that has a conviction rate of 0.5%, the CBI has a conviction rate of 70%. So Dr. Muni, first has to explain what is Mr. Somnath Bharti doing out there, egging people on. And number two, the fact that the court has now extended the remand. These are two basic questions that any logical person would need to answer before one alleges that there is some vindictiveness on the basis of...
Since you put that question directly across to Dr. Muni, can you explain that? Very straightforward question. Why do you send someone like a Somnath Bharti, who himself has been convicted, to stay?
Now today there was talk over why there is not a bail, why custody was extended. It's a setback. I would request my fellow panelists to do some research before you come to a TV show. First and foremost, today's court hearing was not for bail. Today's court hearing was for whether Mr. Sisodia will be sent to police custody or he will be sent to judicial custody. Now
Yes, we are
the
aware of the
CBI
facts on
asked.
the
No,
ground.
no,
That
no, no,
wasn't
no,
my
no,
question
no,
to you,
no, let me complete now. Don't interrupt, please. You have made some allegation, please complete. Then the CBI court asked CBI कि भाई आप बताइए, you tell that do you have any question? Do you need the custody of Manish Sisodia? They said no, we are done with our questioning. We don't have any questioning. This is said by a CBI in the court. I am not saying this.
So you should thank them,
And
right?
then
You should thank them.
Then the court, no, we should not thank them. They don't have the questions. They didn't do this. And that is why the option that the court had is to send to, judicial custody. And the bail plea will come on 10th March. That day, we will talk about what the court has said on the bail.
But that's not the question that I put to you. That wasn't what Dr. Ranganathan. You have told us this facts, so I'll give you 10 more seconds if you can answer why this bid to intimidate the agency.
To answer that, I don't think who comes on to protesting
that doesn't matter.
really makes a sense.
That doesn't matter. Very
what the
interesting.
court
So,
says,
Shehzad,
what
I'll
the
bring
court
you in
says,
here.
that matters.
I'll bring you in. Of course, it doesn't matter for those who are sympathizing with the AAP today. However, at the end of it, when you have the Chief Minister openly backing a Kattar Imandar, you have the likes of an Atishi Marlena, who's all set to become a cabinet minister very soon. Then you have, of course, Somnath Bharti, whom we've discussed. You have all the cadres out on the street. How does it affect an investigative agency? Because AAP says that it's independent. Why should it at all be affected by what's happening outside the courtroom, what's happening outside the investigation?
Good evening, Meghna, and I hope that the same courtesy will be extended to me that I extended to the other panelists here. First of all, this is a case of clear-cut siyasi dharmantran, conversion politically. They started off as India against corruption under the tutelage of Anna Hazare. Today they are celebration for corruption, protection for corruption and justification of corruption under the tutelage of Lalu Prasad Yadav. And therefore, they first do Bhrashtachar, then they cry Atyachar, even though the court doesn't give them any victories or relief. When they do get a har in court, they come on the sadak and they start Durachar. Let me give you some examples of this. Manish Sisodia is in jail and has not got relief. Even the Supreme Court rejected him relief. Satyendra Jain is in jail for 9 months, no relief. Courts have said 3 times he's a hawalabaz. Vijay Nair is in jail for 6 months. All the cases under Sharab Ghotala, none of them have been quashed. Even their newfound allies, including Lalu Prasad Yadav, convicted multiple times by court of law. Whether you see Sonia Gandhi, court had taken up the case in 2012 and had asked for a FIR and a complaint to be registered against her and gave no relief when they went to the Supreme Court. So all of these cases are happening under the direction or the vision of the Supreme Court, and the courts are not giving them any relief. So then they should take it up with the courts unless they feel that the courts are biased. Point number 1. Point number 2, Manish Sisodia has had a history of trying to play with the evidence. In November 2022, Times Now reported how he called for the files even though he was the main accused in the Sharab Ghotala. In Satyendra Jain's case, we have seen how they are giving VVIP treatment to him, and he was a minister for 9 months, allowed to do vasuli, allowed to take malish from a child rapist. And now, Meghna, I am presenting to you the biggest evidence. A big evidence I am presenting to you on Times Now. Just last 20 minister is saying about what is happening inside jails.
बहुत मजे रहते हैं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं होती। मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। कई साथी अंदर है, उनसे बातचीत हुई है, मजे में, कोई चिंता की बात नहीं।
10 seconds.
और अच्छी बात यह है जेल दिल्ली सरकार की है।
Saurabh Bharadwaj is saying
The Times Now will not authenticate or vouch for this video which BJP has put out. I'd just like to put out that disclaimer.
No. Times Now has... 1 second, Meghna, 1 second, please, before you jump the gun. Times Now has broken the story. Mohit Bhatt had done this story. This story has also been authenticated by News Laundry and other organizations. I am ready to stake my full political career on your channel. If this is a false video, I will quit politics forever. So please don't question the authenticity of this video. It has already been authenticated. We have taken it up in a formal press interaction also.
But right now, looking at that little
Meghna,
screen, I will not put my neck on the line
Meghna,
and say this is a video Times Now will show. However, let me put that, let me go across to Sanjay Hegde. It's important for us to understand. The point essentially that the BJP has been making as well is that their this is the court which has decided whether or not this bail or jail has to be given, and all of that is fine. We are not questioning the judicial process here, Sanjay Hegde. However, what does it mean when you have some of the top mantris there in the courtroom? What does it mean when entire roads outside the courtroom are being barricaded? Yes, the agencies are supposed to be independent, but how does this play on the fear psychosis of witnesses? This is not the only case. There are several such cases in the past as well, where AAP itself has been accused of influencing witnesses, and in this case also damage of property, but of evidence. But let's stick to influence of witnesses. Sanjay Hegde.
See, irrespective of what crowds gather, the judicial process goes on, the investigative process goes on. If they are cowed down by crowds outside, they are not worth their salt. That's point one. Point two is that in India there has been a long history of matters going on in court, but crowds gathering outside.
Yes.
When Mr. Tilak was sentenced for sedition, there were huge crowds outside in Bombay. When you had the INA trials, you had huge crowds outside the Red Fort. There is one set of processes which are happening inside the courtroom, but if any process is seen as politically motivated, people play politics outside. These are two separate spheres. Though they sometimes mingle or overlap, nevertheless, they operate independent of each other, and that's how things have to be. So, it's not as if the investigating agency says, "Sorry, I can't investigate this case. Please appoint some other investigating agency." And it is the same CBI, and I've always been on it, even during the previous government. I've always called it the Central Bureau of Investigation. Whoever is in the center has the bureau, and they investigate the hell out of anybody else who is not in the center.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. If we go by the conviction rate, CBI seems to be doing much better than that. I'll go across to Ranganathan as well as Shehzad, who wants to come in. But before that, let me go across to Dr. Sumansi Raman. I'll come to you, Shehzad. I'll come to you, Shehzad, for sure. I will come back to you. But Dr. Sumansi Raman, he can't be left out of the debate completely. So, I'll come to you, Shehzad. I've promised you. I will come to you. So, a quick word from Dr. Sumansi Raman before I come to you. Let's have his viewpoint as well. There are top leaders of Tihar jail who have said that they feel they have been intimidated by the Aam Aadmi Party. You have some of the senior most CBI leaders, officers who have gone to court and they have said that we have been intimidated by, even at the time of arresting the principal secretary, the then principal secretary of the chief minister. Does this intimidation tactics work? Because it seems to be working in some of the cases.
No, I think since we are willing to take the CBI officers and officials of Tihar jail at their word, why not take Manish Sisodia's words also? He says he was harassed and subjected to mental harassment by being asked the same questions for 8 hours a day. Look, we have to understand, it is in all likelihood Mr. Sisodia would get bail later this week. Now the CBI says that they don't want him, want his custody any longer. It's clearly a case of him, of the matter coming up in court on the 10th and Mr. Sisodia getting bail. Now, it is very likely that after that, this case may again drag on for eternity. But the point that Mr. Hegde was making, if an investigative agency or the judiciary is going to be influenced by crowds being gathering outside the court, then I think that, we have a very serious problem as far as the agencies or the judiciary is concerned. They have their jobs to do, and they do it based on whatever evidence is presented to them as far as the judiciary is concerned, or the process of investigation as far as the agencies are concerned. Now, every major politician who is in the dock,
these are top
when they go to
even
court,
a chief
crowds
minister.
gather outside. That does not mean it is intimidation.
Just 5 seconds.
Okay, Dr. Ranganathan.
Well, yes, we've seen it.
No,
I've seen
I
it
think
in
with due
Tamil.
respect to Dr. Sumant Raman and Mr. Sanjay Hegde, who's an expert here, I don't think the investigative officers or CBI can get influenced by the protests. they are already influenced by the government. So it's the government that is influencing them. They're anything but independent. I've called them the cage parrots. The point is that the crowd...
consensus on that.
Of course, the crowds that have collected can influence or scare the witnesses. That is the question, not the investigative officers.
Okay, fair enough. That's a very important point that you've raised. Yes, it is influencing the psyche of the witnesses. Yes, Shehzad.
Meghna, first of all, I take strong objection. I am not a TV panelist. I am the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. If I make an allegation, I make it on the basis of facts, and this has been my track record for the last 15 years. I have shown you a Times Now report that Saurabh Bharadwaj, who is in a ministerial capacity, has made a statement that jails are a place of fun. It is under our control. I am saying to you on your channel, which is the most watched channel at 8 p.m., that if I am lying about this statement, I will quit politics. Read my lips. I have also shown multiple news reports, and your own channel has broken the story. On the back of this evidence that I am furnishing on your channel, I am asking the AAP representative or their supporters that is this a statement that supports institutional integrity? And we have already seen how Mr. Satyendra Jain was allowed to enjoy VVIP treatment. Do you need proof for that, or is that an established fact? So Meghna, please do not say that you can't vouch. I don't need you to vouch for it, but
Well,
this is an authenticated fact.
This
is a matter of fact that Saurabh Bharadwaj has said this.
But here
and I am
on
saying this on a
Times Now, we are very clear. When it is a video we show, we will vouch for it, we will say it. If it isn't, we will not. It's not a personal attack on you and your credibility. Let's not make it about your credibility. No one's questioning this. But your direct question, let me take that across to Akashdeep Muni. You have, as per the BJP is saying, your own leaders...
Just one last time.
Okay, fine. Now let Shehzad finish, then I'll go across to Akashdeep Muni. I will give you uninterrupted time, Shehzad. Go ahead.
Meghna, I am not from a party which says 800 crore audio tape is there with me and never produces the audio tape. I am not from a party which says CBI officers make an offer to me and not produce evidence to that. I am not a party who makes allegations about Gadkari ji and Arun Jaitley ji and then does a U-turn and writes apology letters. I am a party, when I say something, I am saying it with the back of my entire party, and I am saying that Saurabh Bharadwaj has said this. I have the proof. I am ready to provide that proof to you. Now please, the Aam Aadmi Party representative can answer it on the basis of the proof I am giving.
Yes, you're done, Shehzad. Okay, now let me take that across to Akashdeep Muni. Please answer.
Chalo, I think Meghna ji, you will promise me uninterrupted time. One point which is very, very interesting: evidence. Proof. From last 6 months, I'm debating on this very channel that the spokespersons of BJP come and again are saying that we have proof. This is an open and shut case. Excise scam happened. Manish Sisodia should be in jail, and the CBI goes to the court and says कि भाई हमारे पास कोई evidence नहीं है. Kindly provide wait. Kindly provide us right to interrogation so that we can get some evidence from that, and so that kindly give us right to interrogation. This is said by the CBI. Okay, so till now, not a single piece of evidence produced. If BJP says that they have evidence, they should give it to the CBI.
That was again, Akashdeep Muni, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just interrupting you because that was not the question again that I had asked you, nor was it the question Shehzad asked you. I will repeat the same question. Is it not true that your own leader had said the jails are under control? We have nothing to fear.
Which leader?
You just heard that entire bite which Shehzad had played out.
No, should we go by bites played on phone?
Are you saying
should
that
we
it
go
has
by
not happened?
No, I am saying that we will be not. This is very immature to react to something played on phone, and that too without any credibility. Nobody can vouch. Not even Ranganathan ji can vouch. Nobody can vouch on this, and nobody can vouch this type of videos. And second point,
Akashdeep Muni, I'll ask you a simple question because a lot of our viewers may not be very clear.
You ask me the question, I'll be answering.
Who is controlling the Tihar jail? I'll ask you some simple questions. Is it not the prisons department?
Yes, it is the prisons
department. Which is the nodal ministry for that?
The DG prisons is recruited by the Home Ministry of India.
No,
under
that is not my question. Which is the
no. No,
Ministry,
then
is it not true that Satyendra Jain
No.
himself used to hold the
who
position?
recruits? I have a question directly to Meghna ji. Who recruits
DG Prison does not build the rules.
No, DG prisons के the rules has been
Do you know
acknowledged
Satyendra Jain
by the DG
ministries?
prisons.
Can you tell me about Satyendra Jain's past portfolios?
He was the jail minister.
Yes.
Meghna, just 5 seconds.
Dr. Ranganathan, I think I've made my point. Anything beyond that, Dr. Ranganathan को बोलने दीजिए. आकाश जी मुनि सुन लिया आपको.
One-lighted.
I asked you some questions. Dr. Ranganathan can come in, please.
10 सेकंड तो दे दो. मैं मेघना जी 10 सेकंड दे दो.
Doctor, please.
सुन लीजिए, डॉक्टर साहब वापस आ जाएंगे आपके पास. डॉक्टर रंगनाथन को सुन लीजिए. We'll come back to you.
म्यूट कर लेना.
Have I not come back to everyone that I promised that I will be? डॉक्टर रंगनाथन,
मैं बता रहा हूँ.
Interjection.
जनता पार्टी ने आज तक बोला है कि ना कि हमारे पास प्रूफ है कि ना कि दिल्ली में घोस्ट टीचर्स है. अगस्त 2022 में इंक्वायरी बिठाई गई लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर के द्वारा. आज रिपोर्ट आ गई लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर की कि एक भी घोस्ट टीचर नहीं है. माफी मांगेंगे शहजाद पूरा वाला चीज जो बोल रहे थे घोस्ट टीचर है. चलिए माफी मांगेंगे.
Are you done now? Can Dr. Ranganathan come in? Dr. Akashdeep Muni, you've completely gone on a tangent, made it personal. Again and again, I'm saying this is not a personal thing. This is very serious what we are discussing. If probes are being influenced by dharnas outside. Dr. Sumansi Raman, you wanted to come in, please come in now.
But it was my turn.
Look,
the good guys never win.
Okay, I think Dr. Ranganathan wants to. I'll give him the. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Dr. Ranganathan,
Okay, go
and
ahead,
then
go
I'll come
ahead.
to you,
Sir, after
Dr.
that,
Raman.
I'll come in.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Dr. Ranganathan. I like when we have
Yeah.
this kind of courtesy shown. I hope everyone would do that. But go ahead, Dr. Ranganathan.
Thank you very much to my elder brother, Dr. Sumant Raman. No, Dr. Muni, look, I really respect you, but you have been shifting your goalposts ever since I asked you 2 questions. Let me repeat those 2 questions. Is Somnath Bharti or is he not convicted by the court, number 1? And number 2, when you say that AAP believes in team spirit and has many leaders, can you please explain how is it that Mr. Manish Sisodia was heading as many as not 1, 2, 5, 10, but 18 cabinet ministries? 18. Please answer these 2 questions and I will retire.
No, of course,
Dr.
I agree that the minister who takes care of 18 portfolios should be thrown to the jail. That's a criminal offense in this country. 18 portfolio hai, jail mein bhej do. Of course, I totally agree with my elder friend.
I think Dr. Muni has trouble asking, understanding the questions which are being asked.
No, understanding. I know what I'm answering.
Okay. You say that you've answered the direct question which was asked by Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Sumansi Raman, yes.
Yeah. Delhi, being a small state, has a very limited number of ministers. Mr. Kejriwal has chosen not to keep portfolios with him because he wants to be in a supervisory role of sorts. Right. And also parallelly maybe grow the party in other states. So therefore, Mr. Sisodia has multiple portfolios on his head. So this is a very, very simple, logical explanation for it. If Delhi had 40 ministers, there wouldn't be a problem. And then if Mr. Sisodia had 18 portfolios, I agree with this argument that why should he hold so many portfolios? Okay. But with hardly 6 or 7 ministers in the cabinet, and one of them not holding any portfolio, obviously you need to hold more portfolios. The second point, as far as Mr. Sisodia is concerned, so far, based on what has been said in the court, we have not seen any evidence of a money trail being linked to him. So the need to have arrested him after 1 year of investigation, after having searched his house, after having searched his office, after having searched his lockers, and on the face of it not having come up with anything, is itself suspect. So I think that you have a problem when over 90% of cases and raids that are being conducted are on non-BJP politicians. So that begs the question that how many of these are purely politically motivated, part of a vendetta politics that is being indulged in. Once Mr. Sisodia is out, this case will languish like many others have been languishing for the last 8 years
well,
and
in
longer.
fact, let me also tell our viewers this inside track that we've picked up, that ED is also waiting in the wings. It's possible that if Manish Sisodia doesn't go to CBI custody, if they don't seek custody, which they've already said they may seek before the 20th, ED is still there waiting in the wings. They have a separate case, remember, of money laundering, which is already filed against many of the top bosses.
They will wait for bail to be granted in this case.
Sanjay Hegde wants to come in.
Arrest him in a separate case.
Sanjay Hegde wants to come in.
That's the usual tactic.
Yes, I'm just carrying on from where Sumant lets it out. And I wanted to tell your viewers that normally what happens is that there is a predicate offense like this Prevention of Corruption Act. You can't prove that, then you make it a PMLA saying that money has been laundered and therefore there is a separate offense. What then happens is that as a consequence, because in the PMLA bail is very difficult to get, it gets extended. That's what's been happening in the Satyendra Jain case.
Okay.
So if you have any doubt, if you are an opposition politician, that if you run afoul of the authorities, that you will have the attentions not only of the investigating agencies, but you will have the ED as an ultimate enforcer. This will just prove it. Because if in cricket, the Australian crowds would chant, ashes to dust to dust. If Lilly doesn't get you, Thompson must. So if you don't get him on the predicate offense, you try him on the PMLA.
So you're saying that this is okay.
One last point. Your channels went on and on about the 2G scam. What happened to A. Raja, the minister at the end of it? A. Raja has been acquitted. How many of all your channels covered that, the acquittals? No, nothing happens. Everybody wants a
easier to shoot the messenger saying that we are at fault, but let me take that point across to Shehzad. Dr. Ranganathan, I know you have something to show before that.
Just showing that Shehzad is absolutely right. This is a Times Now report on what Shehzad was claiming.
This is the report which we have. We have not said that we have not run it. I said the video, whatever may be shown, is not something that we are authenticating. I'm not saying that is wrong, nor am I saying that it is correct, and I'll stand by what Shehzad showed. But I agree with you, and if you really want to put it out there, what it is being alleged is that it was Saurabh Bhardwaj who said that there are many party colleagues inside the jail. I keep having a word with them. They are all enjoying it inside, is what the report, I believe, Shehzad citing. But Shehzad, that's an important point that we just had Sanjay Hegde as well as Dr. Sumant C. Raman saying that 90% of the cases of the CBI, as per reports, are against opposition parties. Is there any truth in the vendetta charge?
Let me address 4 points, and all on the basis of facts, and I think that at least Economic Times would be considered to be credible. I am quoting from Economic Times, which quotes a court order. Prima facie, sufficient evidence against Satyendra Jain. Delhi court accepts ED's charge sheet against him. Yeah. Let's not just go by this. I am quoting a document Rahul Shivshankar has quoted on this show. This is writ petition of 2017. Page 16 of 18, para 30, prima facie Satyendra Jain had orchestrated the Hawala transactions. Let's not just go by this also. Let me, please, can I complete, Mr. Sumant C. Raman? I did not need for Hawala Bazi and have confirmed that fact. Now, when a court of law has confirmed this, I don't think anybody else can come and sit in judgment on that and say that no, they are being hounded. If it is being hounded or there is no evidence, like in the case of Manish Sisodia, then they should go and get relief. The court is in fact saying that they are guilty of this prima facie. Point number one. Point number two, you asked me that why 90% of the cases are against opposition leaders. Meghna, 2004 to 14, the CBI, which was called a cage parrot, was with the UPA. At that time too, the cases were against NCP, SP, BSP, Congress. Even today the cases are against the same lot. That means whether in power or out of power, their charitra is of corruption and our charitra is to catch corruption. What can I do if my leaders are not doing corruption and if their leaders are doing corruption? But more importantly, I am saying only this. Please do not interrupt, Mr. Raman. Even the Congress party, last time, even the Congress party in this particular case of Manish Sisodia has said that we welcome the decision and the steps taken by the ED against Manish Sisodia, by the CBI against Manish Sisodia. So
Even
is the Congress lying? The Congress all along has been saying that this is vendetta politics, but even they have
if the corruption is coming in from the opposition parties, if they are clean, then let them come out clean. Why hold protests and dharna if they have nothing to hide? right? They should welcome the probe.
Absolutely. But Meghna, I agree entirely. If my only question is, what about the politicians who were in the opposition against whom the BJP made the primary charges of corruption, who then joined the BJP and became, the epitome of purity, who were bathed in the Ganga? I can give you a long list, starting with Himanta Biswa Sarma, Y.S. Chowdhury, C.M. Ramesh, Narayan Rane. There's a long list of
I'm answering
leaders,
on Himanta Biswa
all
Sarma
of
specifically
whom
because there's lack
they
of time.
were accused by BJP.
I'm answering on the Himanta
Sir, 1
Biswa
minute.
Sarma. Please give me an opportunity to answer on this specifically. Meghna, let me answer on this specifically. He has quoted a name. I'm telling you the answer.
No,
Okay.
1 second.
Okay, now I am going to
now
I am going to provide the proof. Meghna, may I provide proof?
Mr. GVL Narasimha.
You have taken one name. Let me give you the answer for that.
Chowdhury as the
So essentially, you are
Okay.
saying that this is BJP
Let's not shift goalposts. 1 second, Meghna.
Dr. Raman, but let me go across
No, Meghna,
to
let me
Dr.
answer this.
Ranganathan also. He wanted
Let
to
me
come
answer
in.
this.
Dr.
Let me
Ranganathan,
answer
I'd
this.
just like to,
Let me
it's important
answer
for us to
this.
get back to
Let me
the
answer
specifics that we are discussing in this debate. And
Yes.
Dr. Ranganathan,
Yes.
should we be worried that the NCPCR today says that Aam Aadmi Party has been glorifying Sisodia and this hampers the psychic and the development of students? After all, he is also the former education minister. That it hampers what the society is and the way we are even shaping the minds of our youth.
No, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. First of all, may I gently disagree with my good friend Dr. Raman is saying that it's all right for somebody to take as many as 18 positions. Each of those cabinet posts requires concentrated, focused efforts if India is to progress and Delhi is to progress. It exposes the vacuity of a government if 18 cabinet posts are held by one person and education being one important one. But can I please also agree with him? He's absolutely right. The people who the BJP alleged were corrupt soon joined the BJP, and then all those cases went away. Incidentally, when Mr. Hegde
That's
talked
something
about
that Shehzad, sorry
Raja,
to interrupt you,
just
Dr.
10
Ranganathan.
seconds.
Shehzad wanted to
Just-
answer on that specific
just
point.
Let
Shehzad.
me answer this.
Just 10 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, just please.
I wanted
because
to
a lot of
answer
interruption.
this.
Yes, Shehzad, please wait. Just 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds, because I wanted to comment on what Mr. Hegde also said about A. Raja. He's absolutely right, except if, and that is why I was showing paragraph 1812 of the judgment that acquitted A. Raja itself. You know what the judge says? Judge says in the beginning the prosecution was started with the case with great enthusiasm and ardor. But then something happened. The prosecution itself weakened the case. I was sitting for 9 to 5 every day. And in the end, no senior officer was even willing to come and give evidence against Raja. So it is the BJP government that itself destroyed the 2G case. What are we talking about?
So that's very interesting. And also, since we are talking about A. Raja again, Times Now had
Meghna,
extensively
can I answer?
covered his acquittal. Times Now had also interviewed Mr. A. Raja. Sanjay Hegde may have a grudge against Times Now and say that we didn't cover it. We did so extensively. But Shehzad, go ahead.
Can I just come in there, Meghna?
I'll
A
come to
long
you, Mr.
list of
Hegde,
names
and
have been
allow
taken in
Shehzad,
which the
then I'll
first
just
name.
come
Now,
to you.
can I please, for the God's sake, answer?
I'm sorry?
Hemanta Biswa Sarma's name was taken, Mukul Roy's name was taken. I am providing evidence of this. Hemanta Biswa Sarma joined the BJP in 2015. Here is the report. Hemanta Biswa Sarma was questioned by the CBI. No case was stopped. Then subsequently this case went to court by Akhil Gogoi, who filed a writ petition in court, and he asked for the court to monitor it. Now it's under the court's new jurisdiction. Second, Mukul Roy. I am showing you Mukul Roy also. This is also here. Here you go. Mukul Roy joined the party. He was still questioned by the CBI. But now I want to ask a question. When the TMC then said that Mukul Roy is corrupt, why did Mamata Banerjee now take Mukul Roy back into the party? Now suddenly he has become clean? Now please answer this. Then how Mukul Roy, when he was with BJP, you saw his corruption.
No
When he
parties
went
come
back to
out
you,
of
now
this
he has
washing
become
machine
Bhoot Sabula.
unscathed. But Sanjay Hegde wanted to have we are running out of time. So Sanjay Hegde, please have your say.
Meghna, let me come in, please.
See, the point is that the CBI or the central agencies have a great discretion in whom they go after, whom they pick up. Today, what happened simply in the Sisodia case was do we remand him? Do you need more remand? The CBI said, no, we don't currently need more remand. So therefore, we are moving on to the next stage. If you don't need his custody, why keep him inside? And that's what's going to happen soon.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. It was quite an invigorating debate. Shehzad still disagrees. Shehzad, I know you have more to add to it.
Matter.
Sorry,
no, I'm asking. No, once again, let's have a debate on specifics, please. Just 5 seconds. I quoted 3 court orders on Satyendra Jain. He tried to portray Satyendra Jain as a victim of our vendetta politics. There are court orders saying take cognizance of the charge sheet of the ED. There's a court order of the High Court saying he's a Hawalebaz. There's a court order of the High Court saying that he's indulged in Hawalebazi. Mr. Sanjay Hegde, if there was no evidence, as you suggest, why is the court making such orders? Or why haven't eminent lawyers like you gone and got them relief?
Just to put
please
things
answer
into
this specifically.
There are about 124 politicians under the probe of the CBI. This is from 2014 till now. And there are several more. Out of the 118 of these are opposition leaders. 6 of them are BJP leaders. The probes are continuing. Our question still remains. Should dharnas be held by the political parties in opposition to the probes? If they are clean, why not come out and embrace this and say that this is our chance to come out clean, instead of trying to use pressure tactics? We are completely running out of time. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us here on the first debate. The second debate, let's begin here on India Upfront.